mission, but our primary mission was
Training.
rotating pilots out of Europe to go out to shoot at the desert and transport things in the Middle East or anywhere in that area.
So now you're at Wordsmith and you're a SAC trained killer.
Oh yeah, you know SAC.
Yes, I know SAC.
Yeah, they told us that when I got there, they said SAC was a different breed. That things you would get punished for at another air base, SAC would kick you out or send you to jail. And for instance, if you got caught driving off on another base, you might get a ticket or something else. But with SAC, if we roped you up, you got kicked off base, you lost driving privileges. We could pull your car off. That was what we were doing up there. And I remember my first day at SAC, came home 2 weeks when I was SAC at Wordsmith. Overseas, there wasn't so much pressure on how your uniform, what you wore. And I had a flight jacket with the blue shirt and blue pants, the dark blue uniform I liked. And I put on a little bomber jacket. I was walking around looking at the base. And this officer pulled me over and jumped in my face and was chewing me out royally. I mean, he was going up and down. And SAC does not allow that mixture of uniform. And he was wondering how come I didn't know that, and wolf this, and what he was going to do to me. He was going to have me turned over. He said, "What squadron you in?" And I told him, "Air Police." He shut up. He says, "How long you been on base?" I said, "1 day." And while he was doing that to me, I was sizing him up. I was remembering his face. I was remembering his uniform. I was going to see what kind of car he got into. I said, "Okay, you got me today.
I'll get you tomorrow."
You are going to, I don't care if you walk on a ride, I'm going to find you. And as soon as I said Air Police, and one day he backed all the way off. And he says, he apologized for chewing me out and saying, well, we don't mix our uniforms like that. I said, you came from overseas where they didn't have that much concern, they allowed that. I said, well, SAC is not allowed. I said, so I just want to keep you out of trouble. And so he's going to give me a little break this time. We became friends after that. Believe it or not, him and I became friends because I did size him up, and he was really riding me right at.
So you're at Wordsmith, and what are your duties at Wordsmith? What are you doing? Just
same thing. Basically, I'm base police at this time. When I got to SAC, they had security police divided into 2 sectors. One was security and one was base police.
Okay.
And the two didn't mix. When I first got there, I did security for a while at the bomb dump. We had 8 bombs there and some other stuff. And so I did bomb dump and I guarded that stuff. And then after 3 months, I went back to base police, and I did no more security in terms of the weapons at that time. I bombed up. I could almost count the rivets on a B-52. And after that, I went back to base police, which was law enforcement.
Okay, so you would, having your choice, base police was definitely the route you wanted to go.
Well, since I had tech school training and had been basically trained in police, it was easier to put me into the police sector because I didn't have to be trained, or I knew the ropes, so to speak. With security, a lot of security police never pull base police. They only pull security. That's all they've ever done.
Basically guard duty stuff.
Guard duty stuff. Basically, well, like today they call them the base defense force and security forces. They do everything. Armored vehicles, escorts, tanks. They do basically everything because their primary concern is base defense and whatever it takes to defend the base. So security is a part of it, and base defense is the other. So I prefer law enforcement. You got to learn Class A uniform. You didn't have to stand out in the cold all the time. So I mean, it was a different animal, but I did both.
So you spent the last 2 years of your Air Force basically at Wordsmith? Last 2
at Wordsmith. That basically was my place. I had a couple incidents there, but like I said, the first day it was an interesting base because they said at one time that there were no nuclear bombs on. I can say that now because time's fast. There were no nuclear weapons in Michigan. And I remember hearing that statement, and when I heard it, I said, "Wait a minute, we got airplanes lined up here. Each one of them got 2 in the bay. How in the hell can they say that? Or how in the heck can they say that?" And then they come out and explain to me the technical aspects. That is not an atomic weapon until you put 2 pieces together. And those 2 parts are not put together until the plane is in the air heading toward wherever its designated target would be. So technically speaking, there were no atomic weapons in Michigan. And I said, oh, until you put it together, it's just 2 items that together, separate, they're not a bomb. That's how you tell the truth and not tell the truth.
So